Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jose,
I'm Julian. We speak the word.
and today we have another very, very special guest, Ansou.
Hello, my name is Ansou, and yeah, I'm just here. I'm just excited to be here.
It's amazing, man. I know. It took a while for another video to come up, but life gets busy. We got things to do as well. School just started. Now it's October, a new month, new opportunities, and we're gonna try to keep pushing them out. As y'all can see, the lighting is much better compared to previous times. The equipment just gets better from here. And I hope y'all keep watching and viewing these podcast videos. So we can begin. Today we'll be talking about four very important topics. And a little another one at the end, but something fun. We can begin
Yeah.
with the first topic, which is being misunderstood. What do you think that means, or what do you take from that?
Um, I believe everyone can be misunderstood. You know, you know what they say. First glance at someone, you get a thought. You look at someone, and then what you may see at first glance is like what you may perceive them to be in life. So you see someone in a certain attire, a certain scent, a certain way of looking. You may believe like, oh, this person looks mad today, so I'm gonna assume that this person is just not a happy person. And so when I mean by misunderstood, it's not just with like vocal communication. It's also about body language. How you like project yourself, how you put yourself out there.
Most definitely. Like what Ansu said, just the way you're seen and viewed, like the people could just judge. Like that's a big part of it as well. Judgment, just by the way someone looks, they might be scared or feel a certain way. That could apply with people with tattoos and stuff like that. They go straight to judgment, and I think that's a big issue nowadays. Judging people straight off the bat, not giving them an opportunity, but at the same time, you gotta put a good image out there for the people. But at the same time, that's not really all that matters. Just be you.
So along the lines of what you were saying, this reminds me of something that I've been learning about recently, which is confirmation bias. Pretty much confirmation bias is where, for example, I'll give you an example. A kid that may have been raised in a household full of parents with tattoos, or in an environment of someone that looks a certain way or dresses a certain way or acts a certain way within that community, that culture, they may see that thing, like for example, they may see tattoos as a norm, something that's not so negative because they were raised around that, compared to someone in contrast to someone that's like, you know, very religious. They don't believe in tattoos, the marking of the body, because they see that as something that may be negative, satanic, something that's just not positive in life. Yeah.
I'd like to add on. Yeah, I agree with both of them. Being misunderstood is a big problem. But as human beings, it's something that as much as we don't want to do, it's something that as human beings we do. But we should be able to learn how to give people a chance and not judge it and not make assumptions. Not misunderstand it just from just from first glance.
Most definitely. Both of them said very important things. These are things everyone should know because I feel like this world is destroying itself, and just learning these few topics and talking about things like this is very important in the long run. And it's just like passing on through generations, like Ansu said, like tattoos. That's how they were raised. That's how they were, throughout their childhood. They saw it, and to them it wasn't bad, but to other people it might be bad. So it all starts somewhere. It starts with how they're socialized and such important things.
So we were talking about generations just a second ago, and we'd like to talk about generational problems and how they carry on and how to break the cycle.
Just to clarify and explain what that means. Well, there's like two different forms, I believe. generational problems can come in physical, physical things like, for example, parents had alcohol or drug problem or a specific type of habit that wasn't so good, and that passes on. But that also applies to good habits. Depending on how you teach your kids, that passes on as well. But at the same time, with generational problems, if your parent doesn't reflect on what they've done, or it doesn't have to be specifically your parent, but whoever comes before you, generations before you, they have to, in a way, reflect on their actions and stuff like that. Like if they have hate towards someone, they have to stop that because that passes on to the child at the end of the day. Because that transfers over to them. They feel everything, and it's just a big issue in the long run because that's all they're gonna see, and that just keeps passing on as we go.
Yeah, I feel like you're onto a really great point there. Generational problems, it comes in many shapes and forms. For example, I like to talk about like the financial industry of it. You know, I feel like the main reason for why the American economy is so damaged is because, you know, it's the perspective of where you were raised. For example, a kid that has parents of like a minority race, they're built and born into a lifestyle where, you know, they want more things. They want to spend more, but they don't have more. They're not minimalistic. They're trying to get the flashiest things. You see a lot of people in like communities such as the Mount Haven community trying to buy. I'm not gonna lie. For example, I like to buy nice clothing like Polo, Jordans, but in the long run, you have to think about it as if, well, how does this benefit me? Is this a positive investment? Is this something that's gonna like help me in the long run? And with that type of mindset, that's how people as if within like compared in the white race, you see them, they don't wear these flashy clothing, they wear suits and ties. They invest instead of saving. They focus their money onto things that in the long run it creates generational wealth. And with that generational wealth, it goes on to families. And that's pretty much how you know you pick up those habits, and with those habits, you know yeah.
Another generational problem I'll say is like trauma. Trauma can definitely be passed on from generation to generation. So like for example, like somewhere along the line, somewhere along the family tree, maybe a family member once got hurt by something, or something happened to them and they had trauma because of it. And oftentimes that trauma can carry on from that person to their kids, and then, it carries on and on and on. Them kids grow up and have kids of their own, and sometimes pass the trauma on. So you should be able to learn how to like break the cycle.
Yeah, just to respond to both of them, what I'm getting from this is, even like, just try your best to improve from what your parents did, and then apply that to your kids. If that's the bare minimum you could do, I think that's a good thing. With the investments, you invest in something good, you buy property, and, that goes a long way. That's just gonna multiply over the years, and you're setting up your kids for a good life. Like those shirts, those Jordans are gonna decay in like 20, 10 years, and they're gonna be nothing. But if you buy property and stuff that is gonna generate money, it's gonna go far. And especially with the trauma portion, gotta reflect, gotta sit down with yourself and really, just really be one on one with yourself and be like, how do I improve? Because I feel like that's a very important thing. Just trying to become the best possible version of yourself. Just keeping yourself accountable to that.
Yeah, I like to add on to that. Talking about reflecting, you know reflection is very key when it comes to progress. You know what I'm saying? Me, I believe in a thing where it's called, there's no progress without reflection, because you can't expect yourself to do better in life, increase the things that you're doing, have a better mindset without thinking about what you're doing wrong, without knowing what's the mistake, what's happening that's affecting you from growing. And with that reflection, that allows you to build character. Building that character allows you to understand. whoa, I can do this better. I can create this for myself. And by creating this, I don't have to focus on what happened in the past, but it's more of what I'm doing in the present. I don't like to think too much ahead of the future because I like to live in the moment. But you should have a little bit of the future in mind, knowing that you have something set up for you in the long run.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful stuff. Because a lot of people live, I like live regretting, and I think, like Ansou said, just keeping a balance of both. Enjoying your life right now, but at the same time, being prepared. I think just being prepared is, I think, a very good thing to have.
Taking risks, yep, taking risks is very important.
Definitely, I agree heavy with that one. Definitely, like try to live life without regret, because if you have regret, you're not really gonna be able to live life to the fullest. You're constantly gonna be regretting, oh, I wish I didn't do this, that. I wish I would have done this instead. And you're not really at peace with yourself if you're like that. And yeah, definitely take risks, because risks, could help you improve in some things. Yeah, risks could make you better in some way. Yeah.
So after talking about the topic of regret, I want to get into something a little more deeper that I want to bring to today's podcast. It's about commitment. Um, in life, I made a lot of commitments in my life. I'd say the biggest commitment I've ever made was being myself, truly. Because I feel like sometimes people lose sight of themselves when they're trying to entertain others, or when they try to impress people who may not, you know, be as important as you think they are. I like to just think about who I truly am and what makes me, what makes Ansou Ansou. And by doing that, I just set I set sort of like boundaries of like what I know I'm used to doing. So like, for example, I have a routine in life. I wake up, I do this basically the same thing, but I change it up a little bit in the day just because we want to try new things. But I wake up, I go to school, and I try to try something different. I go to the gym after school, but I try to try new exercises. I try to meet with new people. I try to just expand, connect with other people, just so that I can build that resume of understanding other people, who they are, stuff like that. I just feel like commitment. Without commitment, you won't be able to complete the goals that you set in life. It's like having a car with no gas. You feel me? It's not gonna go anywhere.
Um, Everything he said is all so factual. Having a schedule goes a long way. Commitment in general, it's like a lot to it. Like Anshu said, you can commit to many things. It's different for everyone, I believe, but you at least have to be committed to one thing in life for you to, you know, for your life to be worth it. Because if not, you're just living your life day to day without no progress, without no ideas, without a schedule. That could be bad in the long run, because you don't know, you're lost. You don't know where to go, what direction to head to. You have to start dreaming, hoping, and believing in yourself, which is, I think, very important. And for me, one commitment I've had was over the summer. I would wake up when I was at Syracuse University. I would wake up in the morning, and like at 6, and every day it was that same routine. Sun came out, 6 hit, and my eyes, I didn't even need an alarm. It was just a routine that got implemented within me and within my system, and it allowed me to be very successful throughout that month. I used every single day to the maximum. I would end up sleeping at the same time every day, but that's what everyone needs. Just something to do the whole day, and it's good for many things. I was staying healthy, I was exercising, and all the above, and it just kept me sane, which is, I think, something everyone should practice. Just trying to have something for themselves to look forward as well. Because sometimes, like, I feel like every week I have something to look forward to. Like, I was looking forward to this podcast. That's something that, all right, I have to keep doing my things so I can get to this day and do this amazing podcast and just talk about all these amazing topics.
Yes, commitment is very important. I would like to say though, I feel like commitment is probably very difficult, to be honest. Because let's say, for example, like you commit to like going to work every day. I'm sure no matter how much you like it and you enjoy it, there's gonna be some days that you're just gonna be like, there's gonna be some days that you're just not gonna want to go, but you said yourself, you told yourself that you were gonna commit and stuff. So you have to. Commitment is also, I would say, difficult as well, but in the end, it is worth it because if you commit to something, you told yourself you're gonna commit to it, and if you accomplish it, if you do commit to it, I feel like it would make you really happy knowing that you stuck with it.
It's just accomplishment comes with a lot of satisfaction. I could say that for myself. I could say that, for you guys as well. Probably everyone out there has felt some sort of an accomplishment, and that's just it's just a fuel at the end of the day. It's like I want more. That's what it leads to.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you know, that feeling of wanting more of satisfaction, it makes you more hungry. It drives you to do better in life. For example, I play sports. One of the main sports I currently play in the spring season is lacrosse, and I've committed to a lot of goals within my lacrosse career. I've been playing for about 7 years now. I can name a couple, but I feel like the most important one that I currently have is it's a pretty big goal, pretty big commitment. I plan on committing to be like an All American for this upcoming spring season. And yes, it is pretty difficult, but by doing this, it's not like I just set this goal without any plans of like achieving it. You know, I play. I mean, I go to the gym every day pretty much. Right after school, I do daily workout routines like daily push-ups, pull-ups, and dips throughout the day to keep myself active. There's a lot of mindfulness within just becoming an athlete. It's not just about the physical aspect, it's also about how you take care of your mind. Mind over matter, you feel me? The things that go in your mind are just it it pretty much runs how you work in life, you feel me? You can't have a strong foundation, you can't do much in life without having the right mindset. A fixed mindset over a right mindset is just there's a big difference between the two.
Definitely, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You have to put in that time and effort, but you'll get there if you commit to it. Up, it's been a month, so we have a funny story for y'all. We don't want it to all be serious. But at the end of the story, there is a life lesson, like all our stories.
I'm gonna start off with a story of my own. Um, uh, so about 9 to 10 years ago, I used to live in Brooklyn. I was raised in Brooklyn, and while I was in Brooklyn, I used to live in the Flatbush area, yeah, Brownsville and stuff around that area. And there was a day where me and my brother was walking home. This was, I bet, second grade, third grade. Me and my brother was walking home, and one of the kids in our neighborhood that also goes to school with us. We're all walking, and he like pretty much play fight happened, attacked my brother. Me being a little brother I was, a protective little brother, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go chase this kid down, try to get back, and I chased the kid down, but the kid decided to run in the street, so I followed him. Then he hit the meanest right slant, like he was a football wide receiver. Boom! I get into the middle of the street. Next thing you know, a big, I'm not gonna curse, a big Optima van was speeding about 15, 20 miles per hour. And it hit me. You know, I went flying more than 6 feet in the air. I was semi-conscious after the hit. I had remembered asking for my mother and to go home, and pretty much after I got hit, I kind of passed out. I woke up in a hospital, and I had a big ass knot on the side of my head in this area right here. But yeah, but from that experience, it may seem funny. At first, it was funny to me, but then I learned a life lesson, I guess, from that moment. And that lesson was, you know, it was more about being less impulsive and just, thinking before you act. Throughout my elementary and middle school lifetime of education, I was like known to be a very impulsive kid. I always like respond. I've always been built to respond instead of just waiting, taking 3 seconds to think about my actions. Sometimes I still act a little impulsive, but it's not as bad as before. But I like to just like think now. Feel me? think before I act, because usually when you just act off of how you feel in the moment, off of emotions, you start to realize that you may not be yourself. You may be a little more crazy, a little more, just I don't know, just a way that's not gonna help you, not a way that's not gonna benefit you. You're not gonna gain anything from the actions that you're gonna do while you're acting up. Yeah,
Definitely, just yeah, like he said, thinking before you act takes you a long way. It could probably prevent a lot of accidents, like the one he had.
yeah.
So he used that, and thankfully he's here right now, and everything's good. But me personally, I don't have no near death situation. Yeah, I don't really have no crazy story like that. But yeah, just reflecting on a day to day basis could take you a long way. Just being patient with your mind and yourself, and yeah, just thinking things over.
Also, that's not the only accident I've been in. Quite recently, about a month or two ago, I was on a city bike, and I thought I was him. And I thought I was that guy that was sturdy on a city bike. And it was raining outside. I tried to swerve a car, and I ended up swerving a little too hard, and another car came and it hit me, and I went flying, but it was not as high as before. Yeah, but yeah,
Well, the
like
good thing is that he's here in this podcast.
yeah,
No,
God's
his
will.
his actions were reckless, but he learned from it, and hopefully he doesn't do it again.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Be careful.
Once again, another amazing podcast. An amazing guest, a bunch of amazing topics, and a bunch of amazing equipment.
Yes, indeed. We apologize for the delay. It was this podcast came out very late, but we were busy. Like we said in the beginning, school started. We had we had things to do and stuff. But what matters is that it's coming out now. We're doing it now.
And
Yeah.
once again, I'd like to thank you guys. I'm very grateful for you guys adding me on this podcast. I feel very special to be featured on this podcast in episode 3. Thank you very much.
Most definitely, it was amazing having you, and we appreciate you for taking the time and coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Shake my hand and look in the camera.
Thank
Yeah.
you again. I shake it again.
It was amazing. And it's gonna be good. I promise ya. And hopefully it doesn't take us as long. Another whole month. Hopefully not, but hopefully we get the time and chance. And another great guest. Hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with the podcast.
Thank y'all once again. For watching. Thank you also for being here. It was an amazing podcast. And remember to spread the word.
Because we speak the word.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.